to me, like, acting is breathing. Like, if I stop acting, it's like nothing's happening to me. You know, like, I get really bored and like, I'm like, oh my goodness, hurry up already, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was 8 and I went to this acting school and I just kind of started reading lines, and I really loved memorizing scripts, and like, I done this like Brussels sprouts commercial. It was like the worst thing, but like I loved it. I really, like, it was the funniest script, but it meant so much to me, and I think that's what, like, when I read Stranger Things script, it means the same thing from the first time I ever read a script to now. It always means something.
I always get an instinct or a feeling when I'm really connecting with something, when I know I have to do it. I start getting butterflies in my stomach, and you have this need and this connection to something, and you're just drawn to it. Like, it's like a magnet. Yeah.
Honestly, like, when I read a script and I feel so passionate about it, I can't catch my breath. Like, when I talk about it to someone, I'm like, could not stop like smiling. I'm like, you've got to read it. Like, you don't understand, like, the meaning behind it for me. You know, it might mean something else to you, but it really means something to me. So,
yeah, I feel the same way. That's how, you know, you find the thing that you identify with.
Exactly.
And you bring that to it. You know, well, of course you're playing a character and you're dissecting that thing, but that feeling that you're talking about, that connection, is what I think brings that little extra spark to that role. Do you remember what that thing was for Stranger Things?
Yeah, so the vulnerability, I think, was the most challenging and the best part of playing Eleven, because she could have these two sides to her, you know, and she could be completely crazy and like super protective, and I think that's the one thing I also related to her, was like being protective. I have such a big family, and like I'm really protective over my 5-year-old sister, so like them things just relate to me. Like I'm sure, you know, you relate to things about your son or something like that.
Absolutely. Well, and I could tell because you were so good with him earlier. But yeah, and that is something that I noticed about your role on Stranger Things, and actually why I thought it was so funny that we were going to meet today, because I know you haven't seen Westworld because it's a bit mature.
I'm not allowed yet.
Isn't it funny when you can't? I wasn't allowed to see a lot of my own movies in the theater.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
13, and most of the films I starred in as a minor were rated R.
Wow.
So I wouldn't even been able to legally go see them.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
Hilarious. But the thing that I noticed about both of our characters was that there was a strength in the vulnerability. It was this persistence, and it was the pushing through the vulnerability and facing what you're most afraid of.
The truth.
And overcoming trauma. And that's so I thought it was, I saw so many parallels between the two characters.
Yeah.
So.